Welcome in to our regional championship preview of the Rundown here on Big Rapids Daily News. Brandon Worth, Jack Heckman, Mark Holcomb, Jason Kostecki, the whole gang's here. Well, except for JT. He's a loyal fan for this week. We'll hope to see him back hopefully next week. But it's great to have you guys in. And fellas, district championships, and Jack, you pointed it out. We have 3 teams to highlight this week in our recap and our preview, which means we had 3 winners this week. First time the CSA has ever had 3 district champions in a year. It's a monumental year for the CSAA.
Yeah, 100%. Great football from all season long. We talked about it last week, how this conference has been, dominant. These 8 teams are able to dominate out-of-conference opponents and just beat up on each other in conference, but also get each other ready for the playoffs. It's been exciting to watch all season.
It's been an exciting year indeed. We'll talk about the recap of all of our district championship games, as well as we'll get you the updated brackets, what they look like for this week, and we'll obviously preview the matchups for all 3 CSAA teams. But before we get into the recap, big thanks to Denny's Muffler and Brakes in downtown Big Rapids. They can help you. They're on State Street. Call, make an appointment for all of your auto needs, whether it's auto body, whether it's muffler and brakes. Give them a call. They're in Big Rapids. But let's get into the recap, guys. We'll start with Big Rapids and Escanaba, the Saturday game. Jason, you were there for that one against the Eskimos. And overall, wondering, hey, is this the game? Big Rapids has a big day on the ground. And for Jack Bowman, the answer was yes, 48 points, and as well 180 on the ground for Jack. He just had an amazing afternoon.
I've been talking about Jack Bowman from week 1, that he's really the key to that offense. He runs hard. He doesn't go down. 3, 4, 5 tacklers, and he carries guys. That offense goes with Jack Bowman goes. You give him the ball, get him in some space. That makes it easier for Cole Heiss to throw the ball. It just opens everything up. Glad to see it, and he played a phenomenal game.
Absolutely. And Jack, we were talking about this game. I think the big thing overall was the offense just needed to score points. I think the defense knew they had a favorable matchup against an Eskimo team that was a little bit slower overall, but I think the defense especially, we're going to talk about the matchup this week, but the defense has looked good, and they applied pressure all night long.
Yeah, 100%. Able to get back there, able to create havoc, and only allowing 230 yards. The offense was able to play good, and it was complimentary football all around.
Absolutely. And for Big Rapids, this is obviously a big one, second out of the last 3 years for a district championship. Let's talk about Reed City. 45-14 victors over Montague. Mark, we obviously have been watching the Wildcats all year long. We knew we could potentially play them for a district championship. We weren't sure if that would be the matchup, but all backs, all 3 of them, 3-headed monster, Kopit, Kianis, Deitch, all had big afternoons, over 120 yards, I believe, all 3 of them over that line, multiple touchdowns. It was just big play after big play after big play against a Wildcat front that played very aggressive but got burnt.
Yeah, I said it last week in the rundown. I think, Brandon, the big thing for me is watching Kopit run. He had 4 touchdowns last Friday night and is just running hard and downhill. And then you put the speed with Kianis and Deitch with him in the backfield. It was a great night for all 3 of those backs. It was a great night for the Coyote offense, but it was also a great night for the Coyote defense.
Yeah, absolutely. The 4th down stops in the first half were able to put this game away, and I think that really goes to show how much improvement that defense has been since week 1, and I think it goes to show that they're ready to face any offense.
I agree. I think there was a lot of movement and motion. They tried to do a lot of misdirection stuff in the backfield, try and mess with our safeties and our linebackers to get them shifting back and forth. But we played good gap football Friday night, and there was nothing there for them. They had no answers for us, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but they had no answers on the defensive side of the ball either. Our defense just played fantastic.
They did, and I'm really excited for this week's matchup, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But last but certainly not least, Kent City with a victory over Belding. This is wing T football at its best. We knew it was going to be a assignment football battle in the trenches, and it certainly was. And I think all you can say was that Kent City had the ball last, and they put it in the end zone.
Yeah, 100%. Gritty game from both teams, really all around. This was a whole lot of smash mouth football. We talked about it last week. There's nothing like wing T football in the playoffs. And just the ability for this Kent City Eagles team to get a safety off a blocked punt early in the game really built the momentum for this Eagles team to go out and get that district championship.
Absolutely, and I was impressed as well. Belding is a tough place to play. Partner, we were there earlier on this year. They have a beautiful facility. They have a lot of fans. And the opening kickoff ran back by Belding caused some concern, like, oh boy, here we go for Kent City. But they just got back to it. They held the football, time of possession, which they love to do, and they were able to score some of those long drives and answer.
Yeah, 100% hard-nosed football. They came in, they had that early mistake on the kickoff, but you come back and you bounce back, and that's what you got to do in the playoffs. You're going to come down. You're going to have your highs. You're going to have your lows. It's a roller coaster, but sometimes you don't got to ride it. You just got to go out and play your brand of football.
I like it. Certainly a great metaphor indeed. That's our Week 11 recap. We'll get to our Week 12 preview in just a moment. But before that, big thanks to Eagle Village. If you want a job that impacts the lives of youth and the next generation, find out more information. Apply today. Their mission, vision, and values online at eaglevillage.org. All right, let's talk about the brackets here. Big Rapids first. Obviously, looking at the other side, Hudsonville Unity Christian, a team we saw overall in the draw. We knew, hey, this is probably the number one team for a reason, the favorite to get there, and now they're there with a win over Spring Lake, 34-19. But I think especially, this is going to be really fun this week for you guys, Jason, because Hudsonville Unity Christian, they run the T, believe it or not. They're a team that likes to run the T a little bit, but it's a different, more of a pass almost, not pass first, but a little bit of option, a little bit more throwing the football. So it's going to be a little bit different look, but for the Cardinals overall, I think this was the team they expected to see in this round.
Yeah, they definitely did there. And, with Hudsonville, it's going to be a little different look, like you said, right? It's going to be less run, a little more pass. It's going to be kind of that good combination that Big Rapids is going to have to be ready for. It's going to come to that front line, and are they going to continue to play the way they've been playing the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be, I think, a test for the defense to stop it, but also it's going to be really big for the offense as well, because you've seen the rushing attack, and Unity Christian, I'm sure, has seen the run attack over the last couple of games on film. So, maybe this game goes to the air for Cole Heiss. Maybe this is an opportunity for him, but we'll see what Jack Bowman's able to do on the ground and keep his really hot postseason going.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody has to come to play. Everybody has to do their assignment this week. You cannot have guys not getting their blocks. And if some guy doesn't get his block, Bowman goes down 5 yards in the backfield, you just punted there, gave them the ball back, maybe they go down and get the game-winning drive. You got to play all 4 quarters.
Yeah, we'll break down the matchup and the numbers in just a moment as well with that matchup. But first, we'll go to the Reed City bracket. Partner, week 1, we thought, we're probably going to see this team again if we play our cards right. And certainly enough, Kingsley did. But the big shock was, what in the world happened in that district final game? Traverse City St. Francis is a good football team. They were ranked top 5 unanimously at one point throughout many times this year. Kingsley also was in that mix, but 57-6. I have to say, you talk about the stuff that happens on the field. The goalpost gate the night before, I think if you're a St. Francis fan, you're probably saying, shouldn't have been able to do that, because Kingsley, you pointed it out, Mark, immediately after that game ended watching the film. Big run all night for Kingsley.
74 yards, 73 yards, 65 yards, and their backs weren't touched. Straight down the field. And that's following the first series when they had a 38-yard pass play setting up their big fullback to run over 3 St. Francis defensemen, 2 linebackers, and a safety to get in the end zone on a 16-yard run, and then followed by those 3 runs. They had 4 runs of 55-plus yards in the first half. I don't know what happened. We were shocked when we saw the score coming in, but somebody up in Kingsley got pretty mad, and it didn't really matter for St. Francis because I don't think they tried to kick a field goal on those wider goalposts.
No.
So at any rate, this is the game. You already mentioned it. This is the game. This is kind of the one that we were looking forward to after losing the first week. Last year it was a little different. We beat them the first week. They came down to our place and beat us. Now we get to go up to Kingsley, eat some French fries, and hopefully watch a Kyle victory.
You just love your French fries, don't you?
I can't help it. Give me a bucket, man.
Well, I'm
you better
sure
have it ready up there for me.
I know they will, but very well-anticipated matchup between these two teams, and we'll break down the numbers in just a second. But first, obviously, Kent City. Let's round out the trifecta, taking on Montrose, a team that got a 49-16 win over Durand. Montrose is a good team, still unbeaten. Hey, that sounds familiar, right? The Eagles still unbeaten, right? Both teams dominating in their respective conferences, and for both of them, honestly, I'm not trying to negate anything that they've done so far, but both teams have been considerably looked at as hey, they're taking care of business, but their strength of schedule is not the best. You look at the playoff points, they're not some of the highest, but for both these teams, it doesn't matter. They're in the Elite Eight, so it's going to be a really fun matchup. And I think, Jack, this is the biggest thing for Kent City fans. I talked to Coach Gropp earlier this week. He was really excited the fact that they got through 2 road gauntlets, and now they're going to be at home. I got to imagine that's a big, big motivation for those guys.
Yeah, 100%. After the first football district championship in school history, and you host a home game, it really doesn't get better than that. A Saturday, fortunately not a Friday night, but still, you're going to have people there. The whole community is going to be there. Everyone's going to be there, and they're all going to be cheering on the Eagles. It's going to be a long drive for Montrose if they lose this one.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun to watch those teams, and we'll break down the matchups in just a moment. But before we do that, big thanks to RivalsMI.com. Holiday line of merch coming out very, very soon. You can find out more information and see the whole stock, local rivalries, mascots, and more on Rivals CardinalsMI.com. All right, let's break down the matchups. We'll start with the Cardinals, looking at the numbers as I pull them up on my screen along with you guys at home. I think the biggest thing, both these teams know how to score. I think the defense is really what's going to be. I mean, both these teams average over 40 points a game. Overall, have been very good. Their respective unity at home, which for them is at home because they technically don't have a home field. So they'll be playing at Hudsonville Public for those that are curious for that. But Big Rapids overall 5-1 on the road. Right now, Goose says this is almost a coin flip, 52 to 48% in favor of Unity as the home team. And I think for Big Rapids fans, I mean, talking with them last week, I think, Jason, this is really looking back at the last couple of years, they've ran into a really tough team like Grand Rapids Christian not too long ago, 2 years ago. I think this is really a favorable year for the Cardinals, and I think this is really with what they have in that defense. I mean, they're almost as great, well equipped for that tee as they've ever been.
Yeah, they're off. Our defensive front played absolutely outstanding in the second half of that game against Escanaba. They controlled everything. They gave them no yards. They adjusted really well. So I'm intrigued to see how it's going to go. Right, it's going to come back to who's going to control that line of scrimmage, who's going to have the will. Right, because we have some dudes that can absolutely play defense. It's just a matter of can we sustain that for 4 quarters.
Absolutely. And Jack, what's the big thing looking at these guys as far as both the Crusaders and the Cardinals? What's the number one thing you're watching in this matchup?
I think it's going to be the deception of the quarterback for Unity Christian. The way they're able to run that tee, it's not a tee you see from like Reed City, where this Unity Christian team has that elite quarterback that can put them over the top, and that creates deception. Now you have to watch not just the 3 running backs, but also the quarterback on keepers.
Yeah, a couple option touchdowns from the quarterback in that Spring Lake game. That's a very good point indeed. All right, let's look at Reed City compared to Kingsley. And I got to say, I know the model has done a good job this year overall. 69 to 31 in favor of Kingsley. Well, let's be honest. Last week is certainly being the little bit of relevancy bias with that. So I think it's a little bit closer, and I think both these coaches would agree it's a little bit closer to 50-50 considering what happened last year at Rhodes Field in Week 1, the buzzer beater for Reed City. But both teams have taken care of business so far this year, and I think, Mark, this really goes to show, I think for Reed City, that first Week 1 game was kind of the wake-up call for this team, so I know they're really anticipating this. And for Kingsley, last week was such a big win. I think they're going to be motivated, but are they going to be as motivated as St. Francis? I mean, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, they're rivals. So you're playing an in-conference rival in the district final game. So there's some sauce flowing in that game, aside from the goalpost controversy last week, too. But, I mean, this is just, they're in our way. I mean, I'm sounding like a coach now, but this is a team that is in the way for us to reach our goals. And we have to go to Kingsley to play. And we'll talk about some other parts of the game, I think, in just a second. But I think we'll be able to make some adjustments because we saw some in-game adjustments, and there's a huge difference in the first half and second half of that game when we played Week 1, when we went from a 4-3 to back to our 3-4, where we have 4 linebackers instead of 4 down linemen. Because for Lewis, he had 97 yards in the first half in that game, and he ended with 129, and so he only had 32 yards in the second half. In-game adjustments, huge, right? And we'll have to see how we adjust to the way they like to block at the line of scrimmage because they have a little different blocking scheme, try and take our defensive linemen legs out from under us. And it worked really well last week against St. Francis. We'll have to come up with a scheme to work against it.
Yeah, and looking at this matchup even further, Mark, obviously we watched last year's game, and I looked overall at the Gaylord game for Kingsley and the St. Francis. The turnover is what really cost them, and I think that goes to show this game, you know, as cliche as it was, it might be the turnover battle, who gets that extra possession, because I don't anticipate we're going to see a 50-7 blowout in either direction between these two teams. It's going to be just an absolute grudge match, but I think it's going to be the turnovers that's really going to be the key in this one.
Well, I agree, and the Coyotes, we talked about it all year. Those 3 backs have yet to put the ball on the ground. And, I mean, knock on wood, whatever you want to do with that. I've told you all year I don't believe in that because I've talked about it every week because it's a key for us, right? Ball control and taking care of the ball. Jack, you even mentioned for Big Rapids, you have to play a clean game. So does Reed City. We have to play a clean game because they don't turn the ball over much either. You've already mentioned it. The couple times they did, they lost ball games. So they're emphasizing that as much as we are. I wonder if with adjustments, if we might have a track meet. I don't know. I think it could go one of two ways. Defensive struggle, maybe track meet. I don't know. You've got some really good backs on both sides of the ball. It's going to be a fun game to call.
It is certainly going to be, and big plays, both teams have showed the last 2 weeks apiece that they can score the big play, which will be very exciting. Indeed. Kent City and Montrose, the last matchup here for you, and I think this is really fun because you're going to see both the 11-0s on your screen, you're going to see the undefeateds home and away on your screen, you're going to see the massive margins, offensive, defensive points. I mean, win probability, it's 50-50, but I think for Kent City and Coach Gropp and his fan base, Jack, I mean, we looked at the last two matchups, at Olivet, at Belding. Now they're home, and they have the most probable numerical matchup that they have with Montrose. So people should be very excited for this team. I think the home advantage could actually even flip them over the 50%. Montrose is a good team. But for Kent City, I mean, they're riding all the momentum right now in what seems like a Cinderella story for them, first district championship, and they're not ready to be done just yet.
Yeah, 100%. This is one of 4 11-0 matchups in the entire state this week.
Whoa.
This is a huge matchup for both of these teams on both sides of the ball. But unfamiliar territory for the Eagles, but I don't think they care. It doesn't matter to them if they've been here, how many times they've done it, how bad they've been recently, how good they've been recently. They want to go out there and play football, and they just want it. They just got to want it this week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun to watch these two teams play from afar. Obviously, this will be a Saturday game, while both the Big Rapids Reed City games will be on Friday night. But I think it'll be fair to say for Kent City, I think you might see some Reed City faithful or Kingsley faithful, depending that matchup, at your game on Saturday in Scout. Just because naturally with it being a Saturday game. But I think overall, guys, just to kind of finish up here, Dazos Digital, of course, a proud sponsor of the Rundown. You can find out more information on how they can help you in your business. But I think overall, as just football fans, I think this is going to be a really fun week because we're seeing 3 CSAA teams overall where we are in the field right now. But I think all these matchups are just, we've gone to the point now, we're in the Elite Eight, right? Everybody's still alive, and we're going to see a complete, like, there's no rematches right now. These are both brand new teams, and so you're going to see the most fans that you've ever had. So it should make this week very exciting.
It should be a very exciting week. I think all 3 of these games are going to be really good football games. And at this time of the year, it doesn't matter, right? Home, away, play in the parking lot, field goal post or toothpicks. It doesn't matter, right? You just got to show up and you have to play football. And I think it's going to be exciting. I think this Big Rapids Unity Christian is going to be smash mouth. I think there's going to be some hitting. There's going to be some great plays offensively and defensively. And ultimately, it comes down to, Jack said a little bit earlier, it's who takes care of the ball. And really, penalties, right? You got to keep yourself from behind the sticks, and that's the biggest thing. Looking forward to it. I think Reed City's got a great opportunity. I think it's going to be a good week for the CSAA.
Yeah, Mark, any last thoughts?
We've got to get Kianis going. He carried the ball 8 times, only had 11 yards the first time, but they did a great job plugging the middle up too. And if you talk to our coaches, they know what the adjustments they need to make on the offensive line. So we'll just have to see how that works out. I agree with you, Jason. This is fun. I mean, we're still talking football with all 3 of these teams that started that we thought had a chance to make a run, making runs, and I'm just glad that all 3 are still in, and we both get to call football games Friday night.
Absolutely.
It's very exciting. It's a good problem when you have to move your show indoors because there's snow outside. Yeah. To be able to do this right now, we have a good problem to have, and it's great to be playing football in the month of November. Jack, your last thoughts on these regional championship matchups?
This is great for the conference. This is great not just this year, right now. This is great going forward into next year because all these teams are going to have targets on their back next year, and teams are going to want to beat them. And right now, these 3 teams have a chance to win a regional.
Absolutely. We can't wait to give you all the calls. You can catch Jason and JT Big Rapids at Unity Christian at Hudsonville Public Eagles Stadium, right? So don't go to Unity School because there's no football field there. So go to Hudsonville at Eagles Stadium to watch the game. That'll be 7 o'clock. I believe they'll be going on at 6:15 for all of your pregame coverage there. Myself, Mark Holcomb, will be making the trek up north for only the second time in our tandem career over to Kingsley. Should be really fun. 6:15 as well, just for all of you guys to know, 6:15 on Y102. And we're going to have some good score watching as well on Saturday to root on our Kent City Eagles. So it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great episode for you guys here next week, as we'll be bringing back with you, whether you're with us on Big Rapids Daily News on YouTube or as well on Facebook and X. Until next time, this has been The Rundown. We'll see you later, everybody.